Hey fellow chess learners, welcome to our channel Pawnception, a chess symphony composed not by strings and woodwinds, but by knights and bishops, pawns and queens. Today, we revisit one of the most brilliant games in chess history, a game that has inspired generations, from grandmasters to beginners. The year is 1852, Berlin. Between Adolf Anderssen, the German maestro, and Jean Dufresne, a rising star of the time. Adolf Anderssen opens with e4, moving his king s pawn 2 steps forward. It's like opening the front door of a fortress, central control, quick piece development, and the first signal that this will not be a quiet evening. Dufresne mirrors with e5. He accepts the challenge, saying, if you're going for the throne, you will have to go through me. This is classical chess, two warriors drawing their swords, meeting in the center, eye to eye. Now Anderssen brings out his knight to f3, aiming directly at the e5 pawn. Think of this as sending a scout ahead to prod the enemy's defenses fast, agile, and threatening. Dufresne counters with nc6, protecting the pawn. He is not overreacting. He is calmly reinforcing his front line, showing no fear. Had Dufresne played something like d6 here, a Philidor defense, he would have been more passive, more cautious. But nc6 tells us he is not just defending, he is ready to dance. Anderssen develops his bishop to c4, with eyes on f7, the soft underbelly of black's position. Why f7? Because it is only protected by the king at this point. That's like a royal vault with only one guard. Dufresne answers in kind, bc5. Copycat? Not quite. He is following the principle. Develop pieces fast, control the center, and don't blink. Both players now have one knight and one bishop out, and the battle lines are mirroring each other. But Anderssen is about to shift the tone. Anderssen throws a punch early, a pawn to b4, offering it as bait. This is the Evans gambit. Why offer a free pawn? Because chess isn't about hoarding, it's about momentum. This move is like burning the bridge behind you so there is no turning back. He says, take it, I will show you what speed and coordination can do. Dufresne accepts the gambit. And why not? A free pawn and a bishop tucked safely on b4. But here is the catch, every pawn you take slows you down. Every delay lets your opponent set the board on fire. Anderssen plays c3. On the surface, it looks simple, just a pawn move. But look again, he is preparing d4, aiming to blow open the center. And there is more, he is kicking that bishop on b4. He is saying, you took the pawn, now get out, this is tempo. In chess, time is money. And Anderssen is investing wisely. Dufresne retreats to b5. He wants to keep his bishop on the board. Smart. But notice something. He has moved that bishop twice while Anderssen continues to develop quickly. The bishop survives, but the clock is ticking. Had he gone to b7, he would be closer to castling, but bf5 keeps the long diagonal pressure on. He is still hoping to play on both wings. Boom! The gates open. d4 is like slamming both fists into the center of the board. Anderssen has fully committed now. The message is clear. I will give you a pawn. You give me the board. He wants rapid development, open lines, and a king exposed, black's king. Dufresne captures the pawn. Logical. But here is where a beginner might miss the shift. By taking d4, he relieves the pressure temporarily, but also opens up dangerous diagonals. He could have ignored the pawn and developed instead, but no, he wants to stay material up. And Anderssen, he is ready for that. Anderssen castles kingside. This is not just safety, it's strategy. He brings the rook into the game, prepares to dominate the open e-file, and clears the way for a future attack on f7, g7, and d6. Dufresne pushes d3. It looks odd, maybe even brave, but it's risky. What is he trying to do? He is trying to distract Anderssen, push a pawn deep into enemy territory, like a decoy knight sneaking behind lines. If Anderssen spends time removing it, he will lose momentum. But if he ignores it, that pawn could cause future headaches. But this isn't just about the pawn. It's a small act of desperation. Dufresne is trying to keep the initiative, but Anderssen won't let him. Anderssen's queen glides to b3. Suddenly, the pressure on f7 is unbearable. Imagine a sniper hidden on a rooftop, eyeing the king's only bodyguard. The queen and the bishop on c4 are now laser-focused on f7. Dufresne is under surveillance, one wrong move, and the bullets fly. And even worse, his king is still in the center. Dufresne scrambles to defend f7 with qf6. A practical move? Yes, but not a developing one. He is patching a hole in a ship that's taking on water from all sides. He is using his queen like duct tape, functional but fragile, and she has now a target too. Anderssen drops the hammer. e5, striking the queen, striking the center, striking the rhythm of black's army. This is no accident. It's a calculated explosion. The black queen on f6 is attacked. She has to move. And as she dances out of the way, Anderssen gets more room, more momentum, more breath in the lungs of his attack. He is building pressure like a symphony rising toward a crescendo. Dufresne pulls his queen back to g6, clinging to the king side, still guarding f7 and now d3 as well. But now the queen is isolated, she is no longer the hunter, she is being hunted. The problem? Dufresne has moved his queen twice while Anderssen has brought out his full cavalry. That's like playing musical chairs while your opponent sharpens his sword. Anderssen calmly plays re1. But don't be fooled by its simplicity. This isn't just developing a rook, it's aligning a cannon down the e-file, which is now partially open, and behind it, that e5 pawn, the spear tip of white's attack. He is loading the artillery, and the board knows it. Finally, Dufresne brings out his kingside knight, g7, a move that should have come 10 turns earlier. But now, it's too little, too late. This knight doesn't threaten, it reacts. It doesn't inspire, it pleads. And worst of all, it blocks the bishop, delays castling, and watches helplessly as white tightens the noose. And here comes the flare. b3, bishop to a3, aiming right at the e7 knight and the f8 square behind it. What is he doing? He is cutting off the black king's escape route. The bishop is no longer just a piece, it's a gatekeeper, sealing the exits before the fire spreads. Dufresne lashes out with b5, attacking the queen. He hopes to push white back, gain a breath of air. But this is like tossing water at a forest fire. The flames are not dying, they are getting brighter. Anderssen doesn't retreat. He captures the pawn with his queen on b5. Cold, precise, confident. He is not just keeping material balance, he is maintaining pressure. The queen stays active. The coordination between his pieces remains intact. There are no mistakes here, only intentions. Dufresne responds logically with rb8, bringing the rook into the game with tempo. He attacks the queen, forcing her to move. This seems like a gain in time, right? But pause. Ask yourself, is chasing a queen always productive, or can it become a distraction from bigger threats? The rook move is aggressive, yes, but also reactive. Black is dancing to white's tune, and that's where the magic of Anderssen begins to unfold. Every threat invites a trap, every attack invites a sacrifice, and this game is about to become a masterpiece in manipulation. Under pressure from the rook, Anderssen calmly retreats with qa4. But let's be clear, this is not a queen fleeing the battlefield. No, this is a queen circling the perimeter, repositioning herself for maximum impact. From afar, she continues to influence key diagonals, keeps an eye on the center, and most importantly, gets out of the crosshairs of that b8 rook. It's not a retreat, it's a feint, like a knight drawing back to charge again with even more force. Now Dufresne responds with bb6, placing his bishop back on a more defensive square. It connects the back rank and supports the center, a sensible move used structurally. But what is really happening here is a shift in tone. Black is no longer charging, he is shoring up. He is feeling the storm coming, and this bishop move is like closing the shutters before the winds arrive. What Dufresne doesn't know yet is that the wind won't knock, it will blow the door off the hinges. Anderssen is orchestrating an attack, and his pieces are silently circling like vultures, watching, waiting. Now Anderssen quietly plays nbd2, a move so humble, so silent, that many beginners might overlook it. But make no mistake, this is no idle development. He brings his knight from b1 to d2, reinforcing his center and getting ready to unleash the final act. Think of this like placing a final gear into a war machine, now fully assembled and ready to strike. What's especially brilliant is that Anderssen doesn't rush. Lesser players would leap into the attack too early. But Anderssen, like a patient artist, waits until every brush stroke is perfectly in place. And now Dufresne plays bb7, developing his final minor piece. It seems natural, right? He puts the bishop on the long diagonal, aiming it toward the center. But it's already too late. It's like polishing a shield when the arrows are already in the air. The bishop looks impressive on b7, but it has no real targets, no threats, no impact. Anderssen's pieces, in contrast, are whispering to each other. They are aligned, we are connected, and ready for something historic. Anderssen now plays e4, and the battlefield shifts. The knight, once sitting quietly on d2, now leaps to e4, staring down the heart of black's position. This is no ordinary development. This knight is like a commander stepping forward and signaling, it's time. He is placing pressure on f6, eyeing g5, and opening lines for the queen and bishop. It's a preparation move, but it's also a warning shot. Black feels the tension and plays qf5, bringing the queen back from g6 to f5. It's a move driven by instinct, to relieve pressure and perhaps defend the king's side. But here is the twist. In trying to play safe, Dufresne knowingly sets himself up for a masterpiece. By placing the queen on f5, he gives Anderssen exactly what he needs. a perfectly misaligned defense. The queen is now vulnerable to tactical motifs, and the black king stands increasingly alone, like a final chess piece moving into place before a trap snaps shut. Now Anderssen plays bxt3, calmly reclaiming the pawn that once dared to charge into his camp. But this isn't about the material. No, Anderssen doesn't care about being one pawn up. This move is about central control and clearing the battlefield. With this capture, Anderssen not only connects his rooks, but prepares to coordinate his heavy artillery. The bishop on d3, queen on a4, knight on e4. They are all pointing toward the black king. Then comes the friend move q5. A mysterious queen lift to the edge of the board. Perhaps he sees danger, tries to create some counter pressure on the h-file, or simply miscalculates. But the queen, once an elegant force, now sits like a lone soldier staring at a battlefield that's about to erupt. Unknowingly, Dufresne has just walked into the eye of the storm, because now Anderssen's pieces are whispering one word to each other: sacrifice. And now Anderssen strikes. With no hesitation, no fear, he plays the move that will echo through the halls of chess history with an f6 check. The knight leaps forward, sacrificing itself with fury and purpose, not for a quick check, not for a pawn, but to tear open the black king's defense like a sword slicing through armor. It's not just a move, it's a statement. Anderssen is saying, I don't need my knight because I have an army, and that army is coming for your king. Now Dufresne has no choice. He captures with gxf6, the pawn takes the knight. And yes, for a moment, black is up material, he has a knight and a rook for a bishop, but the board tells a different story. The pawn structure is shattered, the king is exposed, and Anderssen's pieces, they are not retreating, they are converging. Anderssen doesn't let the dust settle. He plays the xf6, not just grabbing a pawn, but planting a dagger deep into the black position. That pawn on f6 is no ordinary pawn. It's a thorn in the king's heart, cutting off his escape squares, suffocating him in his own palace. And now every white piece, bishop, queen, rooks, is eyeing that vulnerable monarch. Dufresne, sensing danger, plays rg8. At first glance, it looks defensive. The rook slides over to guard the g-file, perhaps to challenge any incoming attack. But in reality, it's like a lone guard standing at the gates while an entire invading army is already inside the city wall. The real problem, black's king has no safe shelter left, and Anderssen knows it. The storm is now in full swing, and there is no turning back. Anderssen now calls in another warrior. Rd1, the rook glides to the center, taking command of the d-file. For beginners, here is why this is pure gold. The d-file isn't just an open line, it's the king's escape corridor. By putting the rook here, Anderssen is sealing the door shut. He is not chasing the king blindly, he is trapping him first. Dufresne, desperate for counterplay, decides to capture with qxf3. Yes, he removes white's queen from the board, but at what cost? He is playing with fire, because every move he spends on material is a move not spent on survival. And survival is now measured in single moves. Anderssen now unleashes rxc7 check, a rook sacrifice that's not a moment of madness but pure calculation. To beginners, this might look insane. Why give up a rook when you are already winning? But Anderssen knows something Dufresne can't stop. Every trade now removes a layer of the king's armor. That rook wasn't just given away, it was used like a battering ram smashing through the final gate. Black is forced to take nxc7, and with that capture, the knight that had been guarding crucial squares is gone. The king now stands bare-chested in the middle of the battlefield with arrows aimed from all sides. And Anderssen, he is ready to fire the last volley. Anderssen strikes qxd7 check, a queen sacrifice. Let that sink in. This isn't just a piece trade, this is the queen, the most powerful piece in the game, offered up without hesitation. Why? Because Anderssen's vision stretches beyond the board. He sees the mate, not the material. The capture forces kxd7, black's king steps onto d7, and with that single step, he has wandered even deeper into the lion's den. There's no turning back now. The king's journey is no longer about finding safety. It's about how long he can survive before the sword falls. Anderssen now develops with venom, pf5 check. It's not just a check, it's a spotlight shining on the king's escape route, showing there is none. Every Anderssen piece now works in harmony, like hunters encircling their prey in perfect formation. The check drives the king to k8, retreating to the back rank, hoping to find some shred of shelter. But here is the tragedy for black. Every square the king moves to, Anderssen has already mapped its doom. Anderssen's bishop now swings to be d7 check, slicing across the board like a guillotine blade. It's a move that says, I am not just chasing you, I am cornering you. The check forces the king to kf8, the last square he will ever stand on in this game. By now, every viewer can feel it, the air is electric. The hunters have closed the circle. The king's shadow is already in the gallows. And then with the precision of a master artist signing his masterpiece, Anderssen plays bxc7. Checkmate. A battlefield grave surrounded by silent, helpless troops. The bishop delivers the final blow, guarded by the rook on d1, sealing the king's fate. Jean Dufresne's monarch is trapped, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. In just 24 moves, Anderssen has painted a chess masterpiece, a whirlwind of sacrifices, coordination, and foresight so dazzling that even today, over 170 years later, it is still taught, studied, and admired. It's not just the victory, it's a message. New art lives in the mind of the attacker. This is why they call it the Evergreen Game. Now, why is this game so special? Because it shows chess not just as a game of rules and calculation, but as an art form. Every move Anderssen plays feels like a brushstroke on a canvas, leading to a finale so beautiful, it still gives goosebumps. It's sharp, aggressive, and deeply instructive, especially for new players. If this match lit a spark in you, go and replay it, study it, breathe it, because every time you see it, you will find a new layer of genius hiding between the moves. Anderssen didn't just beat a friend that day, he carved his name into the immortal walls of chess history. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to see more historic chess games broken down, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a move. Drop a comment. Which move shocked you the most? Was it the queen sacrifice or the final bishop checkmate? I would love to hear what you felt during this beautiful game. And remember, every piece tells a story. What story will your next game tell?